right? Those are most people we talk to. But they're getting older too, right? So I just thought it was interesting. I think it's what makes people more comfortable. If you're out there looking for something in this group, if you want something, how do you want someone to respond to you? How many people want a phone call? Raise your hand.
I prefer a phone call.
Phone call. How many people just want a text message?
I do text or email.
Okay.
I like a text first with my name, and because I feel like people don't pick up the phone anymore. No. But if you text them and say, I got your information. I'm looking to call you in the next day. Be on the lookout. Here's my number. Those are the kinds of things that I appreciate, and I think are people respond. I have found people respond faster to a text, but appreciate the bulk being done on the phone.
If you think about the age group we're working with, technically, a lot of them are still working. So for my clients, at least, they prefer to have a text instead of a call because maybe they are at work and their phone is set to forwarding. Or for email, sometimes it can get lost in their spam or be flagged as junk. So having the text at least gives them a heads up.
That's a good point when it goes to junk. Yep, I've had that.
But being able to, for phone calls, it's so much easier to explain issues with maybe like with a medical questionnaire, there could be like hey, I saw this. Are you sure it's this date or that thing or whatever? And gives people the room to kind of, expand on the little asterisk you might see on a form.
I just worry about a fully automated process where the onus is on the client to do everything, right? A lot of this sale is because they like us. This is a customer service oriented product. And so when the onus is on the client to complete everything without ever, we're so worried about wasting our time, or we're scared maybe that we're going to meet with them and they're not going to take it or it's not going to work out. There's a lot of reasons why an agent might want an arm's length interaction with a client until they're pretty sure that person's ready to buy. And that we can unpack in a totally different therapy session. But I just think that, ultimately this is a service and they need to feel that they're going to be taken care of. And part of that trust is hearing from us, knowing that we're real people, knowing that we're not just email blasting 500 people at one time and seeing who's going to answer. I think when I get an automated text, I kind of roll my eyes. I'm like, oh God, Now, I will still text, but I'll text individually from my phone. Hey, so-and-so, this is Cassandra. Is this still a good time for our meeting? Or, hey, we've been trying to reach you for long-term care planning. Is there a better time to contact you? Absolutely, texting is the future. Not trying to say that we don't text or that we shouldn't text. Just trying to say that a fully automated process presents some interesting, implications in who we're talking to and when we're talking to them.
Lori, does the easy text, does it personalize each text? Does it say, hi, Mindy, blah, blah, blah? Or is it just a hi, blah, blah, blah?
It'll personalize it.
It will. Okay.
But I try to make those texts, those are more for, they're intended to be more of a mass communication, not a specific communication. Mm-hmm. I do what you say. I do a text first and then a call, so that they have my number in advance. And that way it's less likely to go to spam when I call, and they know who's calling. But the easy text I use more of a following up on old leads, just keeping in touch with clients depending on the purpose. You can design it for whatever purpose you want to.
The other thing that I think is really important and helpful in either text or phone is at the very, very beginning, as soon as you say your name, to say how you got their name so that they know that it was you're reacting to something they did and it's not just a random text or phone call. So I think the sooner that you can lay that out for people, the more likely they are to pay attention.
If you guys if you're thinking about making adjustments to your process and how you handle clients and what you're thinking about, I would really encourage you to go into the Platinum Dropbox and there's like a 45-minute video of Matt interviewing Marianne as a mock client. And Mom's shaking her head. I would go look at that because it seems like there's no way that he's doing this for every call, but he is. And we're all doing it for every call, almost that exact same way. So the structure is intro. You talk about who you are, why you're there, what your plan is for the call. And then health, finances, family history. That takes up almost the majority, like over half of the call is that background. But the purpose of that is in some measure to build need. It's to build rapport. It's to get to know them, to understand what they're looking for. If we skip that part, it's really hard to have a connection with that person, right? So intro, health, family history, finances, and then what is long-term care? Explaining the basics. Comprehensive care, home care, adult daycare, assisted living, 2 of the 6 ADLs. What does Medicare cover? Just really standard basic stuff. And then it's probably cost of care map. And then it's recommendations, right? So you're pulling up your screen, you're going over options with the clients, and it's a 2-way street where we're saying we like that benefit or we don't like that benefit. And the whole call is designed to take anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, depending on their health and whether it's one person or 2 people. This is not a 15-minute teaser where I'm going to tell someone all about long-term care and then not give them any specific information to them. So if you haven't listened to it, whether or not you decide to adopt it fully yourself or not, listen to it, because at least that will tell you what we're doing on 90% of our calls.
1 to 2 hours. I find usually my second appointment, and although I'm going to change my whole process this year, my second appointment with a couple ran about 75 minutes. But to me, people are tapping out at like 50, 60 minutes.
But who's talking during that time?
Well, I'm having a conversation. We're both really talking.
Because I find that people love to talk about themselves. If they're talking about themselves for 45 minutes, that doesn't feel like 45 minutes of them talking about themselves. That feels like they feel like we're trying to really understand what they want and what they need and where they're coming from. There's very little. I remember so vividly when I was actually still living at home and I had just started long-term care. And if you guys ever want to know what my life was like I lived at home. Marianne had her office downstairs, and I would go downstairs and I would listen to her make calls. And then I would walk past Lori, who worked in the front room. So Lori's office was in the front. And then I would pitter patter upstairs and make my phone calls. And one day I came downstairs and I was like, man, my throat is so raw. I've just been talking all day long. She's like, stop that. What are you talking so much? Shut up. And I still remember it because I was like, oh my God, she's right. I spent all day talking to these people. They don't want to hear me talk. They want to talk. So definitely though, Sharon, to your point, I can talk too much. It's a constant battle in every appointment. I have to reel it in. If I find I'm talking too many words, I have to stop and ask them a question or go a different direction. But that time goes so easily that way versus explaining. Too many agents want to spend so much time talking about mechanics of long-term care insurance. They don't care.
Right.
And they don't want to know. And they don't want to go into the details. They just want to understand someone knows what they're looking for. They've made a recommendation. This is the product and the company and the plan that's right for them. And then they want to sign up. And they don't want to have to make 5 more meetings to sign up.
Hey, can I share something for a second?
Please.
So I come from the corporate environment, and there was a class that I took, or several classes, that said when the prospect talks 80% of the time, they end up selling themselves. When the agent talks 80% of the time, you only have a 7% chance of getting an approval because there are 16 different personalities out there, from the psychological aspect of it. And the only person that will buy when the agent talks all the time is that person who's going to buy anyway. And so, and the other part said, the reason why you want the prospect to talk, because they get to hear their own personal situation. They will tell you why they didn't buy it 5 years ago. They will tell you stories of friends, family, and other people they know that are suffering because they didn't buy it. But the summary is when a person talks, the words come out of their mouths and it goes back into their ears. And their brain tells them subconsciously, I have told this agent all about my personal situation and why I didn't buy long-term care years ago. And this agent is here, either in person or on some kind of webinar. So when the ears hear what the person says out of their own mouth, the brain says, let's fix it.